pray this morning, God, that you make us earth shakers, mountain movers, yoke destroyers, generational curse breakers, Father. I pray today, God, some warriors come out of here, God, ready for battle. All of me, none of you, in the name of Jesus. Amen. All right, have a seat with me. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm excited. I'm happy that we're in a point right now where we can just really see God show up and show out. You know? My father told me something, how he started a church in Indianapolis and how the story goes where they were living in a one-bedroom efficiency. Him, my mom, my sister. My mom was pregnant with me at the time, and they used to sleep in front of the stove because that's the only heat they had in the house. They had no food in the refrigerator. The little bit of money we get from the VA was barely enough to pay for the church they were starting. And he said, you know, God put them and sent them to Indianapolis to start a church, and I was like, man, I want that. Minus the having to sleep in the living room or in the kitchen, not even living in the kitchen. Minus sleeping in the kitchen, having to use the stove for heat. Minus not having any food in the refrigerator. Minus being broke. I want what he had. I said, man, I want that. Right? So I want to read you a verse that, as I was studying, God gave me this verse, and I was like, man, that's awesome. It's and this is just a little extra for someone that's going through some deep things today. In Isaiah 43, verse 2, it says, when you go through deep waters, I will be with you. When you go through the river of difficulties, I will not allow you to drown. God's always with you. This is for whichever one of you or who you are that's going through something this morning and you feel like you're drowning. You feel like you're all alone. I want you to know something. You're not alone this morning. Amen. I want you to touch someone next to you and tell them, I'm not alone. Come on, touch somebody on the shoulder and tell them, I'm not alone. Don't poke at them on the side. Come on, just touch them and say, not alone. Amen. So this morning, I have a title. And like I told you earlier, we're starting fresh today. Starting new. It's called 3 Questions. First question is this. First question is this.
Okay.
Why do I feel like I need change? Or why did you feel like you needed change? Why do I feel like I need change, Jesus? Why? Have you ever asked that question? Why do I need to change? Every time I have the opportunity to counsel or someone's talking to me and they ask me, what do you think? I'm like, okay, are you sure you want me to tell you what I think? Because my answer to everything is, you need to change. They're not the problem. That's not what's really going on. You're the problem. Right. Because you can only change you. You can only fix you. Do you think God's going to have you go and save the world and you're not even saved? You still need that life raft thrown. You know, you're in that ocean drowning and you barely got the life jacket, that donut, if you would, around you. And that rope, they're still pulling that rope. And you think God's going to use you to save somebody else? I don't think so. Next one. Here's the next question. What brought you to this house? What brought you here? Think about it. Can I be bold enough to ask anyone in the congregation this morning, what brought you here? Can I?
Yeah.
Yeah? I thought about this. Next question. Why do you stay here? Why do you stay? Are you asking God for anything anymore? See, actually, when I got this prepared and I gave it to Brother Chris to prepare, it was actually 4 questions, not 3. But the title says 3 questions. That's not an oxymoron either. That's to make you think. The third question really was, why do you stay here? Here in this house. Why? We don't have a praise and worship team yet, as of yet. Have you ever come here to church and you come to get a word from God and you smell brisket being made or eggs? Have you ever come to church and more than anything you remember what was going on in the cafe and what Sister Mary Helen made for breakfast? Is that the first thing you ask for instead of God, give me a good word this morning? You're asking, what is she going to make? You're texting. What are you making? Are you even making anything? Oh, God, I got to stop at Whataburger, McDonald's on the east side to get my breakfast this morning. God, the struggle is so real. Why do you stay here? Why? Why this house? After all the roller coasters rides we have gone through here at WOL Pastor, why? And then the fourth question, which at the very end you'll get why its title is 3 questions and there's 4 being asked. Thank you, Brother Chris, for trying to fix my mistake. I appreciate you, my man. Like I said, he's my man. Good guy. Why are you asking God for anything anymore? Are you even asking God for anything? Do you think everything in life today is good? Do you know what, God? It's all good right now. I don't have any more problems. Everything is perfect. I don't need to ask God. You know what? I'm just going to accept what I've got. I'm going to accept where I'm at. It's all good. You're really going through things because the Bible says in this world, everything's going to be okay once you say, here's my life. Right? You pray for a job, you got a job. Okay, don't complain. God forbid you complain about the job you got. You told God all you wanted was a better car than the one you had. Don't complain because the car you got is still ain't the one you really want. You know, God, I hope I'm growing more and more as time goes on, but I love to change my socks. I love a new car. It seems like every now and then I'm wanting another car. I want another truck. I want another car. I want Sister Mel to get a different car. One time she got really frustrated and she said, I've had it. That's enough. I'm sick of coming to the car lot. You're not going to buy another car. And if you do get another car, we barely had this car. Of course, that white car she has outside is nice, right? So we did get another car. Go with me, if you would, really quick to John chapter 4. We're going to start with verse 7. Again, the 3 questions are, why do you feel the need for change? Why did you ask for change? Or do you even need change anymore? What brought you to this house? Why this house? Why here? Why do you stay here? Why do you stay here? And the fourth and final question, which really isn't a question but a statement. Are you asking God for anything anymore? Or have you become numb? Go to John chapter 4. We're going to start with verse 7. And if you are like me, it goes Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. It's in the New Testament. And if you lick your fingers and you scroll really quick, you might get there a little faster. John chapter 4, verse 7. And when a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, will you give me a drink? This morning we're going to talk about something so simple, so basic, but so needed today. Why I wanted you young men and young ladies in here, because this is something you faced already, and if you haven't faced it, you're fixing to come head on with it. Let's do the story real quick if we could. But Chris, do you have any verses? Other ones? If not, I got it right here and I can read it. I finally caught the slip. Yes.
31.
Dang it, no. He got me. I'm trying. By the way, before we go any further, I want you to take a look by Sister Christina. My goddaughter back here, just turn. Sister Mella said, we got to get her something. We can't go and just buy her whatever. She needs Christian paraphernalia now. Christian t-shirt, Christian socks, Christian whatever. Well, you take a look at my goddaughter. She's not a big fan of, like her mother, dress up real pretty for dresses, dress shoes, blouses. She's not a big fan of it. Guess what Sister Mella did? Not me. What me? Pick pink for her. I said, pink bracelet, pink t-shirt. I said, she ain't gonna wear that. I guarantee you. You better put some money in the envelope and just start happy birthday. But I love you, Miha. Your mom and your dad are such a blessing. Your grandma was a blessing. I just believe God's going to continue to work through you like you did your mom, your dad, and your grandma. I love you, Miha. Happy birthday. Amen. Okay. John chapter 4, and we were reading at verse 7. Soon a Samaritan woman came and drew water. And Jesus said to her, "Please give me a drink." He was alone at the time because his disciples had gone into the village to buy some food. Verse number 9. The woman was surprised, for Jews refused to have anything to do with Samaritans. She said to Jesus, "You are a Jew. I am a Samaritan woman. Why are you asking me for a drink?" Okay. So I'm going to talk here for a moment. And I'm going to break this down for you, where we're at, what happened. Jesus is going through a city. As he goes through the city, he stops and he tells his disciples, let's chill for a minute. Let's get some food. Let's rest. Let's hang tight. So the disciples get together. They go into the city, go get food. Jesus says, "I'm going to wait right here." How many of you know God don't do anything by mistake? How many of you guys know that? Are we together on that? See, you come to this point in your mind, and this is the way I thought. I said, "God, why am I here, Father? Why here?" As a preacher, as a minister, we are to minister truth to you. I can't get up here and tell you about the stock market and preach a sermon based on the stock market. I can't get up here and talk to you about owning a high-rise building and the problems that we face in life because we don't have $1 million in the bank. All we have is $500,000 in the bank. But what I can get up here and tell you about, without any shame, without any embarrassment, is in life we go through things, and these are the things we go through in life. See, some of you have children, so I can come up here and I can only tell you what I have gone through with my children. I can only preach truth to you. And I'm saying, God, throughout all that I go through, why me? Why here, God? Why now? Why do you keep me here? If you minus the young people and the couple of children that are here, we're going to have many empty seats. Man, God, one hand I'm being told this. I know who my father was. I know how some of you have seen it. Some of you have got to go to San Antonio, and he's ministered in a church that extremely famous preachers have preached at. You know, all these different things have happened. I go, and one Sunday I'm standing here to 20 people. The next Sunday I go and preach at a church with, God forgive me if I'm lying, but at least 1,000 people. And they're having 3 services. And I'm being told that I am needed there and how I could be used there. I have ideas and thoughts of how a church should run, but it just ain't happening. Sometimes I'm up here and I feel like I'm delivering one of the most heartfelt messages and most impactful things I've ever heard, and I'm sharing it with you. And I'm looking out and I'm tearing up, Steve-O. And this is what I see. Or I see this. You know what this is, right? This is somebody talking to somebody else. Or I see this. We all know this one, right? Now, I'm cool with drinking a little bit of coffee. I'm cool with having a drink. I can't understand. We're adults, right? Maybe. But my God, do you really got to eat your McDonald's breakfast burrito? Or it's not a sausage biscuit out of a wrapper. I'm talking you're unwrapping the food. You're sitting there eating. You're having full-blown conversations on your cell phones. And I'm up here talking about soaring like eagles, and God is wanting to take us to the next level. Can I get an amen? Hello? Okay, yeah, I'm almost done. Well, I don't know. He's taking long today. Can I get an amen? And then Sister Alicia goes like that to Jim. He goes, amen. Right? I'm joking. See, I'm not supposed to do a lot of jokes, right, Chris? Because I only got 30 minutes. So, the Samaritan woman, let me tell you the backstory. She's from far, she doesn't even live in the village. She's an outcast. The woman had had 5 husbands and was living with another man. God knows how many babies she had from how many baby daddies she had. You talked about baby daddy drama. I'm sure there was a whole lot going on. Amen? Could you imagine the child support she was getting from these guys? She was getting eggs and goats and all kind of sheep, right? No. She was struggling, man. She was an outcast. She had to live outside of the village because people, her own people that were on the bottom of the food chain. You know, they say to Samaritans, you should drink from the well where horses got their water from. When the animals, so here's what kind of water they would give the animals. They would take a bath, they would clean their dirty utensils where they would cut the animals up to eat them, pour that water into something called a well, a bottomless well, which meant it wasn't self-flowing, it was a man-made well. Because you know wells aren't man-made back in the Bible days, right? There were holes and water would come up from the ground, and that's how they would circulate the water. So they would throw dirty water. And the Samaritan people, that was their drinking, their bathing, their cooking water. She couldn't even do that. Because she made so many. Have you ever made a mistake? Have you ever thought, this is it right here? I'm with the right person. Okay, everything's about to turn around. This is, and it isn't it. Have you ever missed the mark? She missed the mark one too many times. And the Bible says, you have to read the fine print. She had to travel at night. In the evening time. Because the Bible says Jesus and his disciples, when they arrived here, that means they were traveling in the day, early. It was getting hot. It was getting late. It was time to settle down. So Jesus is waiting. They went to go get food. You eat food at what time? Dinner time. So that means she was walking for a minute. You know why she would go at night? A commentary said this. She would go at night because she was embarrassed. She didn't want people to talk about her. She didn't want everybody all up in her business. So she's traveling and she's carrying her container to put her water in it. And how in the world can you say this? Man, God never talks to me. While she's walking, it's hot, it's a long road. She didn't want to take her kids with her because she didn't want people to know and her children get embarrassed and say, oh, them are her kids. And then her kids got to go to school. Her kids got to be around other people. And they're saying, oh, man, your mom is a this, your mom's a that. Oh, you're poor, you don't have this. She didn't want to deal with that on top of everything else. And she's living with the man. Why did the man go get water? Why didn't he figure it out? Because he didn't care. Because she was used up. So there she is, walking, crying, mad. Have you ever been frustrated and mad? And you get in your car, you go, you just got to get in and go because nobody understands what you're going through. Nobody knows what it feels like. Poor you. Oh my God, life is just too much. And guess who shows up? Guess who's sitting there? See, this is the awesomeness of God. By this time, she goes to the well. She's minding her own business. Jesus is sitting there. And Jesus says, give me a drink of water. She's mad, she's frustrated, she's hot. See, some of you get all mad, some of you sisters get all mad, hot, and frustrated because you got to go from your car into the mall.
Yeah.
Somebody say, preach, preacher. Come on.
Preach. No, that's right.
Husband don't work hard all week for that money, Brother Jim, and they're all mad because they got to go from the car into the store.
Come on now.
Why parking all this far?
Yeah.
Sweaty, hot.
Yeah.
Could you imagine her literally walking for real, all jokes aside? She's mad, hot, frustrated. There's this man sitting there. She already been used up by men. She probably hates men. I done had to cook for him. I clean up after him. Now I'm walking over here to get water, and this man don't know me. There we go, right? You don't know me. Jesus said, and I said, well, you don't know me.
Yep.
And he's sitting there. And she says, first of all, I'm a Samaritan, you're a Jew. We ain't even get to the fact that you don't know what I just been through to get here. You don't know how real the struggle is for me. She's like, I'm so poor, I'm so broke, I can't even think right. And he's sitting there asking her for stuff. I'm a Samaritan, you're a Jew. Second of all, you ain't got no cup. How am I supposed to give you something to drink? Thirdly, you want me to put what I've got in that well, pull it up for you, pour it in my cup, and then give it to you. When you're at your lowest of lows, God always asks something of you. Isn't that funny? Jesus turns around and he tells the woman, let's read this verse. The Samaritan woman said to him, you are a Jew and I'm a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink? The audacity you got. You want to belittle me? You want to make me look worse than what I already am? And Jesus replied, if you only knew the gift God has for you and who you are speaking to, you would ask me and I will give you living water. One commentary says, I will give you to drink and you will never thirst again.
Hallelujah.
Bad enough, okay. So the woman went through all that she went through, her whole life, her whole struggle. She goes to the well just to get her water. She ain't on no trouble. She don't want nothing to get. And then there's a man asking for something. He says, wait a minute. If you only knew who I really was. If you only knew, you know what? I've always been here for you. If you only knew that if you would do what I'm asking you to do right now, what I could give you. See, a lot of us think here today that the moment you give your life to Christ, that's all it takes, that's it, it's a done deal, you're all good. No, that's not true. Being saved costs something.